Hey everyone, this is Jack Bourne, founder of Deadline Funnel. And today I've got a special guest who is going to teach us all about Instagram. And especially, this is going to be really, really great for anyone who is struggling to get some real traction with an Instagram audience to really reach a wider audience. That's really what Brodie specializes in. So let me tell you about Brodie. Brodie is an international leader in personal branding and digital marketing strategy through his courses, online platforms, and his podcast, Branded. Brodie's content has helped tens of thousands of entrepreneurs build, launch, and scale their brands online. He has crafted brands and marketing strategies for New York Times bestsellers, entrepreneurs in Forbes, TEDx speakers, top-rated podcasters, and hundreds of thought leaders around the world. Great to have you here, Brodie.
So honored to be here, and I'm pumped to talk about all that's going on in the Instagram world.
Awesome. So let's start with your bread and butter. I believe that who you help the most, or maybe it's like the highest quantity of people that you help, are people that are on Instagram, but they don't have a huge following yet. So why don't we start with what is the thing that they struggle with? What prevents people from building a big audience on Instagram?
Yeah, so great thing. So the first thing that I always like to say, and something that my community knows so well about, is you actually don't have to have 10,000 followers on Instagram to have a really successful business. And I really think in the online space all the time, especially in the last couple of years, people have been saying, grow to that 10,000 followers, grow to that 10,000 followers, especially when you needed 10,000 to actually get the swipe up. And that was the only reason people wanted to get there. But we're in an era right now where micro-influencing is rising, right? And if you can actually create and curate a really engaged and audience, you actually can have a very, very successful business. So what I work with people and helping them really do is really comes down to 4 pillars. Number 1 is really establishing who you're for and your messaging and getting very clear and specific on that. And we can go into all of these 4 points because there's over 200 million with an M business Instagram accounts. Okay. So we have to get very clear on who we're speaking to. We have to create the content that actually speaks to those people, and short form video and reels are really hot right now. We have to have strategies that are actively and passively growing our page. And then we have to use tools and systems to actually take someone to turn them from a follower into a paying customer. So I believe if someone masters those 4 things really on Instagram, but on any platform, you can generate customers no matter what the size of your audience is.
Yeah, I'd love to go into those 4 pillars in a little bit more detail. But before we go there, what you're talking about really meshes with what I remember from when I first came in contact with a guy named Andre Chaperone, who teaches people email marketing and storytelling through emails. And, he was one of the first people that I heard talk about, it's not the size of the email list. Like, it's really the connection that you have. Like, are people really looking forward to each email that's arriving in their inbox? And proof, just to prove this point, Andre sometimes is either number 1 or number 2 or number 3 when there's some sort of launch. And if he chooses to be an affiliate, and he's beating out people with lists 10, 20, 50 times bigger than him, because his people really love what he does, and they look forward to every message, and they also really trust his recommendations. So, I can very easily see taking that concept of that deeper connection, but maybe a smaller audience, and seeing how that could work on a platform like Instagram. So why don't you go back through those pillars one by one, and just spend a little bit more time going through each one of those so that we can understand how we can, make more traction and build our business on Instagram.
Yeah. And I love that Andre teaches on that too. I mean, again, it's all about affinity and how close people feel connected to you, because again, it's all about relationship building at the end of the day, no matter what business that you're doing, whether if you're a lawyer, whether if you're a podcaster, whether you're a course creator, it's all about the relationship, and people are going to buy from people who have a relationship. But the first thing that we always need to nail down is our messaging and our brand, and really who we're for. Oftentimes, what a lot of people try to do on Instagram is try to speak to everybody, and really they're speaking to no one. And especially in this era, people go to specific accounts to find a specific reason, whether that is to entertain them or whether that is to educate them. So for you as a business owner, you have to ask yourself, who am I for and who am I not for? And get so clear and specific on that. Because if you do, this will allow you to set up one of the most valuable real estate pieces on your profile, which is your bio. Your bio is actually the modern day storefront. I call it all the time. it's your modern day business card. And if your profile doesn't speak exactly how you help somebody, when they come and you drive traffic over to your page, they're actually not going to come follow you or join whatever step of the process to actually work with you. So it is so important to ask yourself this one question: who are you for and who are you not for? And if you can start to actually really dive into that and know the pains, the desires, and the languages of that person and how they want and what they want to be educated on, you as a business owner are actually going to create very specific content, which leads us to number 2. I believe there's 4 pillars of content. We can educate people, we can inspire people, we can show them the results, and we can actually show them the story and have them see themselves in the story. So that is going to be major. If you know exactly who you're for and who you're not for, that rolls into your content strategy and how you're showing up on video, or if you're doing podcasts, or if you have a YouTube channel. And having that on Instagram right now, one of the best ways to get in front of people is through Instagram Reels. Okay. So short form video right now, as you probably see, Jack, is one of the best ways to actually get in front of new people to actually fill up your funnels. So if you know who you're for and you know who you're not for, you can actually start creating that type of content that's going to attract that person and create a really close-knit community of people who know, like, and trust you and will buy from you. So those are the first 2 points. I'm not sure if you want to ask me any questions in those 2 things, but.
So when you're talking about the first pillar, one of the things that I'm thinking about, but tell me if I'm on the right track here, is someone who's in the fitness space. I think that there's so many things that you could talk about in the fitness space. So you could be, I would guess that the mistake that you're talking to, or the thing to avoid, is trying to be the fitness, health, and nutrition expert for men and women, young, old, every single person who has a body, just the general health and fitness, but rather be, really, really super specific. So for example, my wife used to coach specifically women, and she really kind of niched down to women who were getting ready for a wedding because they were super motivated. The price didn't become as much of an issue. They just wanted the results. And so that was like a really, really specific niche. So is that kind of what we're talking about?
Correct. Here? Yes, 1,000%. And we could go on and on with different ones. I have some students who go through my program, Insta Success, for example, and they targeted women who struggle with PCOS and helping them lose weight and balance hormones, or maybe a mom who just had their first baby and help them blast that like baby fat. So there's so many different things. I like to say, okay, there's the whole industry, the whole space, which could be health and wellness. But as we peel it like an onion, what are the different layers? How can we actually get more specific? Again, like your wife, that's genius niche. So if you as a business owner can actually identify in your industry what are different areas that people are actually searching for, you can actually tailor your content and your offers towards that.
Awesome. So, and then you mentioned that there's the 4 pillars of, was it 4 types of content?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And can you run through those real quick, and then let's go on to pillar number 3?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I want everybody to know, and when it comes to any content that you produce online, I believe there's 2 types of content. There's growth content and there's conversion content. So the growth style of content is actually going to drive traffic over to your page, right? And then there's the conversion side of content that actually converts people. So if you can understand content strategy from those 2 layers of, is this post going to grow? Is it shareable? Is it something that might go viral? Or is it a conversion where I'm actually calling people to action to get into my funnels or into my sales calls, whatever your sales process is. But in those, there's more specific types of content. And it's how are you educating your people? How are you inspiring them, which is the other pillars? How are you either entertaining them and showing, and then number 4, how are you showing them results and actually driving sales content? So I believe for most business owners, if you can kind of cover those 4 areas and understand that there's growth and conversion in both those types of contents, you will be able to grow a page that has a tons of ideal customers coming over to your page and that actually buy from you.
Awesome. So, yeah, because at the end of the day, you can't, as far as I know, you can't show up to the bank teller window and turn in, audience size. I've got got 500 new likes today. You actually have
Yes.
to turn this audience, I mean, it's not all about money, it's about getting your message out there, but there is a revenue component to building your business online, believe it or not. So, Instagram is one way that we're talking about to reach a bigger audience, but that's to bring them over to your website. So eventually, bring them across the line from someone who's an audience member to someone who's that plus a client. So let's go on to pillar number 3.
Yeah, pillar number 3. I believe there's 7 different ways. We don't have to get into all of them, but one of the most utilized strategies for really actually growing on Instagram, other than content creation of showing up on Reels, I'm gonna really hone in that short form video right now is one of the best ways that you can grow. Facebook has Reels, Instagram has Reels, YouTube has Shorts, TikTok has their TikTok. So if you as a brand right now double down on short form video, you will see massive, massive growth. So as a content plan, you need to really decide how are we going to show up more with short form video. But there's also some other things that you can do to grow that are active things. 2 of them I love to teach on. Number 1 is collaborations. So collaboration, who can you collaborate with in your niche, within your industry that might share similar ideal customers as you? Now, the cool thing on Instagram right now is you're actually able to do a collaboration with other creators. So you can do collaboration posts and collaboration reels. So here's, if you really want to pour gasoline on the fire, if you're already creating short form video, or maybe you need to get into that. If you really want to pour gasoline on the fire to that, start doing a collaboration reel once a week with someone in your industry or someone who might share similar ideal customers. An amazing way that you can actually get your content out there and actually cross-pollinate audiences. Number 2 is actual direct outreach. Now, I love direct outreach. Again, some people might give it a bad rap. It's not these hey girl messages that a lot of people will talk about, but you can actually do targeted direct outreach and lead people into the next steps of your funnel, into the back end systems or your sales calls by doing direct outreach. Here's exactly what I do and what we do inside our business. Is anybody who likes any of our content or any of our reels, we put them into a category of someone who might be a warmish lead. So what we actually do is go into direct outreach with them and actually have targeted conversations about it. So for example, if I created a reel on how to create better reels, what I can do is anybody who liked that, I can actually go and say, hey, how are you doing? I've seen that you liked my post on reels. What are the biggest questions that you have with reels? And this actually starts a conversation with people. And then with the goal of actually moving them into our evaluation tool, into our deadline funnel or our funnel. And that is an amazing way that you can actively grow your following and your page that's sales driven as well too. That's predictable.
That's awesome. Yeah. Asking someone a question is a really, really powerful way to engage them, whether it's, the old form way of doing it is a survey on the website, but obviously you're using it to start a conversation. And, I think especially if we're going to be, as you mentioned, a micro influencer or maybe a micro influencer on our way to being a bigger influencer, being able to reach out to people and to have that one-on-one conversation really helps you stand out from the pack. So was there another pillar that?
The 4th pillar is sales. So and maybe your audience has heard this before, but I believe that there's 3 phases in sales, and you can break it down whether I work with people who are just starting out to people who have 8-figure brands online. I believe there's 3 phases that people have to go through: awareness, evaluation, and sales. Now, what most people miss is they are posting on Instagram and they're missing an evaluation tool that actually builds to sales. So I believe as someone who's producing content on Instagram, you have a massive, massive opportunity to drive a lot of reach and drive a lot of traffic. It's not about the amount of followers, but it's the amount of reach and traffic that you're driving over to the page. So one of my absolute favorite things to look at for sales is how much traffic are we driving over to our page? How many link clicks are we actually getting from that is driving people in the next step of our process? So if you can understand how to take someone from awareness to evaluation to sales, you will be successful. So on Instagram, how this looks. You can build awareness through short form video right now. Reels are one of the best ways to do so, as I said before. But if you consistently create reels, you will drive traffic over to your page. And if it's targeted to whatever your niche is, people will go look at your bio and see how you can help them. So if you drive that traffic over to your page and you have a clear bio and people are evaluating it with a proper link for an evaluation tool, then you move people into evaluation. And then the rest of it takes care of itself. So whether you have your backend systems for sales calls, whether it is using like a deadline funnel, whatever that looks like for you. But if you can understand those three phases and you're using Instagram as your awareness and evaluation piece and using stories in there too, it's a very effective way to take someone from a follower and convert them into a paying customer, which at the end of the day, as business owners, that's what we want. That's the results.
Now, so you mentioned deadline funnel a few times, and we're going to actually do another breakout session, a really quick but content-rich session where you're going to share your exact strategy for using deadline funnel in a wait list, so that you're even when you're doing a launch, you're constantly bringing people in. And so we're going to do that breakout session and put it into the free membership that's in at growthleap.com, or you can go to deadlinefunnel.com and sign up. It's completely free. Join the membership and come and check it out, and also chat with other entrepreneurs like you. Now, Brodie, before we go, I just wanted to ask you, obviously you mentioned that you have students, you've got a methodology, you've got training. How can people find out more about you?
Yeah. So on my Instagram, go to Instagram at Brode's Images in an amazing way, or BrodiePierson.com, Brodie, Pierson, Pierson.com. I also have a podcast called The Branded Podcast. We've been downloaded in over 70 countries. So we really cover in how to build, launch, and scale your brand on there as well too. So you can, on my website though, is the best place to find freebies if you're really wanting to double down and generate customers on Instagram.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming and share this content.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.